Okay, so today on the next iteration of selling products on Amazon, I'm going to talk about sourcing products that sell. Now, in my previous video, I talked a little bit about some criteria for finding products that sell and kind of took you through doing the product research process on Amazon, which included junglescout.com. I wanted to go a little bit further in depth on this as far as what that criteria should be and what you should be looking for. And so this is kind of the list of things that you need to look at when you're researching those products. So you want to look for something that has medium demand, and this is something that, like I mentioned in the previous video, 300 units, something that sells 300 units or more per month. This is usually a good starting point. Anything less than that, and keep in mind when you talk about that 300 unit mark, you want to talk about that after you've divided the total number of sales per month on that product by the number of competitors that you have. So keep that in mind when determining that 300 unit mark. Anything below that, and it's kind of a catch as catch can. Price point. I talked a little bit about this as well last week, but doing some further research and reviewing of my own notes, and you're looking for something that you can sell for $18 to $89, something in that range. So people are more inclined to buy products that they can get at reasonable prices, and that $18 to $89 usually a pretty reasonable price range for products. So keep that in mind when you're doing your research. Simplified shipping. The easiest way to simplify this is just do the fulfillment by Amazon. They get the 2-day shipping, and once they place the order, it's Amazon's responsibility to fulfill that order requirement if you do fulfillment by Amazon. So that really simplifies things. Okay, low competition. So I talked about the sellers. You usually want to look for a product that has, the fewer sellers, the better. So 3 or less is usually a good point for that. You want to look at products where there's bad reviews, but not on the product itself. You want to look for something where they had a bad experience with the seller and not the product itself. So this way you can capitalize on that good customer, on focusing on that good customer service, making sure they're happy and going through that follow-up process, which I'll talk about in a later video. Less than 40 reviews. Okay, so if you've seen a product and it's got hundreds and hundreds of reviews, chances are, even if you're selling the exact same product, they're still going to go with that seller who's got the more reviews as far as the quality of the product and the customer service and the support that they got from that seller. So usually to keep that competition point low, look for something that's had less than 40 reviews. And then finally, poorly done listings. So you've seen, just go back through your personal experience here and look at some product listings and look at the ones that just didn't really appeal. No matter how good the product is, if you don't portray it right, people still aren't going to buy it, no matter if it's the best new whiz bang in the world. So keep that in mind and look for those products that are probably the best whiz bang out there, but the listing wasn't that appealing to the audience, and make it more appealing to your target audience. Profit margin. This is where we talk about return on investment, ROI. And when you talk about profit margin, you usually want to make about a 25 to 35% profit on sales. So keep that in mind, and after you've done all the math, and kind of took you through that process last week as well. But one of the other things that I didn't touch on was the shipping cost to get it from the manufacturer to you, and to get it from you to the Amazon Fulfillment Center. So you need to take that into consideration, and this is where And this is part of what I'm going into today. When you're doing that research to source your product, that's one of the things that you want to look into from the manufacturers, how much they're going to charge you to ship this product in bulk to you. So keep that in mind. And also, Amazon's going to have a cost for you to ship your stuff to their fulfillment center. So that's going to eat into that profit margin, that return on the investment as well. And then year-round appeal. So what you're talking about here is something that it's a good buy all year round. So things like, coffee makers, razors, fitness supplies, pet supplies, all this stuff that doesn't rely heavily on a holiday or particular season in order for it to sell and sell well each month. No legal issues. So part of the research here is, if you're looking at a product and through the course of your product research, you find that there's legal issues with it, like it's unsafe for kids, and that wasn't addressed, and people are suing the product manufacturer because of product defects and whatnot. That may not be a product that you want to get into and to start selling. So keep that in mind. And then you also want to look at stuff that's available for private label. And I'll talk about that private label later on, but make a note of it and keep that in mind as part of the criteria when you're looking at these products that sell. So moving on, so today we're talking about sourcing products. And sourcing products that sell, there's two ways to source your products. One is go to the original manufacturer, and the other one is private label. There's pros and cons to both of these, so let's just dive into it and get to it right now. So go to the manufacturer. This means that you go to that manufacturer's website, find the product on their website, order it in bulk straight from them, and sometimes this means asking their permission to sell their products. So you've got to be very careful that you're not, and some of these are copyright protected, and some of these are trademark and everything else protected, where there's only a few people authorized to actually sell their products. So that's making sure that you have permission to sell that product under that brand, that label. The pros to doing this, well, you don't have to worry about branding because the product's already branded under a different label. And you're getting the exact same product they're selling. The cons to this is you don't get to brand it yourself, and chances are you'll probably end up paying a higher price per item through going through that manufacturer. So keep that in mind. And like I said, there's benefits and there's cons to all of this stuff. So keep that in mind when you're deciding which way you want to go. All right, private labeling. This is finding a manufacturer other than the other label manufacturer will make the exact same product, but probably cheaper per item. The pros to this is, again, you can probably find it cheaper this way because there's you've probably noticed in the past where we'll take ibuprofen. So if the ibuprofen is sold under the label of Advil, you pay a higher price for it. It's the exact same drug. Whereas if you go to like Walgreens or get the generic ibuprofen, you're paying less for it. Part of that is you're paying for that name. So that's what, when you talk about labeling and branding, Nike, Adidas, and all of those are brands, those are labels, and you find that you pay more for a brand name than you do for the exact same thing that doesn't have a brand name associated with it. So that's why when you can find the products cheaper. you can develop a relationship with that manufacturer for other similar type products in the future. So this is where you go with, we'll say, the fitness arena. And as we all know, there are tons of ways to get fit, and exercise machines and exercise bands and balance balls and Bozu and all of that stuff. And so if you decide to get into that niche, then you can find a manufacturer who also manufactures products in that niche and start a long-term relationship with them and start using them as your primary source for fitness products. Then you can, and this will allow you in the future to develop your own product, brand, or logo and actually have that manufacturer working with them apply that logo to your products in the future. So now you're getting into where you're doing your own self-branding and people start associating your name with those quality products. The cons, okay, finding a manufacturer to work with is sometimes going to be a challenge, and you'll find that some products that say they're the same as the one that you saw in your product research aren't exactly the same, and they may be substandard products. You have to deal with that. And the other thing is manufacturers may be unwilling to work with you on negotiating prices or shipping costs or whatnot. And so it may take longer to find a manufacturer who will work with you that you can develop that relationship with. So finding those manufacturers for your private label, there are several websites that you can go to find a manufacturer, and these are the top three that I've looked at. Alibaba.com, it's in China. All three of these are in China, and all three of these have a similar setup where manufacturers will go to the Alibaba site and advertise their products on Alibaba. So there's tons of manufacturers for tons of different products and items and some services. So the nice thing about Alibaba is they offer trade assurance, which means it's been, and you can find where some of these manufacturers have that trade assurance icon, and I'll show you that in a little bit when I go through a demo here. But they offer trade assurance, which means it will be easier for you to get refunds or replacement for defective products, and basically you can get your money back if it turns out to be a bad investment or the manufacturer just totally fails to deliver what you ordered. Okay, Alibaba does have a minimum order quantity, and this will be shown on the and it will say 100, 1,000 pieces, and that means that you have to order a minimum of that number of pieces in order for that manufacturer to ship to you. They offer private label, so if you do have a brand or a logo already, you can send that to them and they will put that on your products before shipping it to them. You can also customize. So when I talked about the fitness niche, workout bands, so some of these manufacturers sell them as individual pieces, but as you know, workout bands have different levels of resistance. And so if you want to offer a package deal on Amazon, you can ask them to customize where they put 3 or 4 different resistance bands into one package and work with them on customizing in that way. And then high quantities. I mean, these folks, they have factories, and these factories can mass produce these products at a cheap rate. So there's should never be an issue with maintaining an inventory once you decide on a product to sell on Amazon. AliExpress is an offshoot of Alibaba, but they also offer to sell just individual items, and this is something where if you're just starting out and you're not sure of the process, and before you even want to sell on Amazon, you can find some of these individual products or manufacturers that sell individual products, advertise them, see what kind of orders that you're getting through a sales funnel, or even just a plain old web sales page, and see how many orders you start generating doing, you know, the advertising and marketing that's required. Same thing, some of them do have minimum order quantities. They also have high quantity, and the prices are okay. I mean, you can find a lot of products, and this is Alibaba, AliExpress, and Made in China, where you can get them made, where you can get these products at the manufacturing cost. So however much it costs a manufacturer, you can sometimes get it at that cost. So that's something to keep in mind, because you're not paying that little upsell percentage to get that product to you. Okay, madeinchina.com. I haven't been to this one personally, but they also do wholesaling. They also offer high quantities, and research has indicated that they also offer better prices. So these are the top 3 websites that you can go to find your products, to order in bulk, and get going on selling and advertising these on Amazon. Now, if you want your product, if you want to make the claim that your product is American made, there's a couple sites that you can go to. thomasnet.com. It's very similar to Alibaba, AliExpress, and Made in China, where they offer a lot of different products. Not as many or as much as what you could find at the other sites, but the key here is they're made here in America. So if that's something that you want to look into, go ahead and check it out, and you can find sources for your products there as well. And then makersrow.com. This is specifically for textiles. So if you're interested in you know, the clothing or such, this is probably a site that you would want to check out. Now, having gone through all of this, I'm going to take you through a quick demo here and show you Alibaba. So this is, you know, the home page, and I'm going to go ahead and sign in here. Okay, so on the last video, when I was talking about doing product research, we were looking at knee braces. So say you found a knee brace that you wanted to, that was selling pretty well on Amazon, and you wanted to find a similar product. So you just go down, type in knee brace under the product, click on it. And so what you'll find is, not only will you find a wide variety of knee braces, but you also find a wide variety of manufacturers. And you can see the manufacturer's name is right here, and it tells you how long they've been in business: 5 years, 10 years, 1 year. Usually I would say look for one that's been in business for at least a year, and probably 5 years, because that shows that they have longevity and indicates that they're pretty good people to deal with. And then look at the diamonds. I would say look for a retailer or a manufacturer here who has at least 2 diamonds going for them. And then I also talked about the trade assurance, and Alibaba does offer trade assurance. And so what you're looking at when you see that is this little symbol right here with the $sign, and the limit amount. And if you want to learn more about trade assurance, you can always go here and see what they have to say and what their features are. Okay, and just go through it and do the research yourself, because part of this is I can take you through this, I can show you all the cool stuff, but there's also stuff that I'm probably missing that I'm not going to be able to show you. And this is a method for you to, number 1, verify, but number 2, do your own research. And I highly recommend this, that you always go in and you do your own research on this stuff, because people will tell you stuff all the time, and sometimes there's nothing to back it up. And this is a way for you to verify that the information I'm telling you is absolutely true to the best of my knowledge. So you go in, and we'll just go down here and then I forgot to mention, so the 500 pieces here, the 500 pieces that you see is the minimum order quantity that they have, and you'll see 1,000 pairs, 100 pieces, 100 pieces. And so you're looking, and jackpot, you find the knee brace that you're looking for. And so you click on it. And again, go through, okay, they've been in business 10 years. They've got the trade assurance. They've got, 3.5 diamonds, which is pretty darn good. And their minimum order quantity is 100 pieces. Now, if you are first beginning, if you are first starting out, one of the things that I would recommend, and it doesn't even have to be if you're first starting out, if it's the first time you've ever thought of selling this product and you want to see how it performs on Amazon itself, contact the seller, the supplier, and you can contact them. And you can put in a message here that says, hey, I like your knee brace and was wondering if I could order a trial size of 50 at the seller price. And that's all you have to do. And you don't, and however you want to phrase it, that's just one way, but you can phrase it, and then you can send the inquiry. And usually they respond within, down here it says, and this is a good part too, it says recommend matching suppliers if the supplier doesn't contact me. So what this means is, if there are other suppliers out there who have that specific knee brace, then you can check that box and you will get, a whole lot of other suppliers out there who have that same knee brace, who may be able to offer it to you at a better price. So keep that in mind and do those comparisons. So I recommend that you check that box, and then number one, that supplier needs to respond to your message within 24 hours. And trust me, these people like doing business and making money too, so they're usually going to be in touch with you in less than 24 hours. And you can start your negotiations from there. If they say, sorry, 100 or 500 is our minimum order, okay, thank you, because you've got 10, 12, 15, 20 other suppliers who have the exact same knee brace, who probably will be willing to work with you on a trial size. So keep that in mind and understand that there's always room for negotiation on this site. And then if you have a business card, sure, agree to share it. If I usually click this one off, but that's totally up to you. And then hit send on your inquiry. And start working with them. But the biggest thing here is ask for a trial size, and I would say anywhere from 50 to 100 is a good trial size to start with, depending upon the price per piece. So again, even though it's a trial size, you still want to make that 25 to 35% return on investment. So if they're not going to, so if the price is too high to make that return on investment, send them an email anyway and start getting all those other offers, because this will save you a ton of time on research. Instead of having to go to them individually, they're coming to you. So it's always better in business if you have people coming to you. So keep that in mind. And when you have decided that you found the seller for the knee brace, and they're willing to do that trial size and the price is right, and you've done the math on the return on investment, then this is the biggest step in this whole process, is because now you're putting money down and you need to commit. So if they've worked with you, if you've come to an agreement, then you need to make that commitment and you need to make that purchase, and you have it shipped to your business address. If your business address is your home address, just make sure it's a good address. And one of the things that comes highly recommended when you're doing your own business is you can go to the UPS store and actually have them and rent a mailbox and have them supply you with a business address that is actually a street address, so it doesn't look like your mail, your business mail, the packages and whatnot are going to a mailbox. It looks like it's going to an actual street address, and this gives you a little bit more credibility. So keep that in mind as one of those free tips. Now, if you have any questions, by all means, please put your questions in the comments below. I will keep an eye out for them and I will answer them to the best of my ability. And in the future, I'll be going over, okay, once you've placed that order and you've received the product, now we're going to go back and go through the process of number one, listing the product on Amazon, and number two, getting that product shipped to an Amazon fulfillment center. So those are going to be a couple of the topics for the next videos in this series. So keep an eye out, and I hope you guys are getting some good benefit out of this. This is going to be a step-by-step process, hopefully without missing any key information points on how to sell products on Amazon. So keep that in mind, and I look forward to talking to you all next time.